Hey everybody, good morning. It's a real early morning too, but hope you guys are doing well today. We're going to be in Ezekiel chapter 12, and I got a busy day, so I got to get going early here today, but hope you guys are well and jamming. So let's get into this. Ezekiel chapter 12, see what this is about, okay? So if you're watching this a little later on because you didn't get up live with me, that's okay. My name's Bo Willette. I do these devotions Monday through Friday. And you could always check out the archives at my YouTube channel at Bo Willette. So just go to YouTube in the search bar, type in Bo Willette. There's my name spelling. That's how you spell it. And you'll be able to get there. So here we go. Ready? Ezekiel 12. It says again, a message came to me from the Lord, Son of man. You live among rebellions who have eyes but refuse to see. They have ears but refuse to hear, for they are rebellious people. Now, if you just read that with me, you know that this is, and you know the Bible pretty well, you know that this is kind of something that Jesus referred to. So many years later, when Jesus was in Jerusalem and Galilee, in those areas, sharing the word of God, this is what he would see. People that have eyes but they don't really see, and people with ears that don't really hear. And I have ears and I have eyes. And so the question always is am I really seeing and am I really hearing? Sometimes we want to always say yes. We want to, answer in the affirmative. But it's good in a devotion to be able to really kind of question that and say, hey, God, am I really looking at you properly? What am I not seeing about you that I should be seeing? What do I need to be listening to and that I'm not? If you kind of understand a little bit about human behavior, you know that we tend to go a certain way and neglect other ways. We tend to sometimes go with maybe the way we are, just our temperance, how, what we're like. And we kind of go in those directions. I tend to be a friendly guy, so I can really move in that direction and forget about being cautious or thoughtful, those kind of things. You kind of get it. There's sometimes I have ears, but I'm just not hearing. Right? And we've had a lot of conversations with people, and I'm sure you have too, where people got ears, but they're just not listening. And this is what Ezekiel says. So that's the first thing kind of this morning. I have ears, I have eyes. Maybe I need to use them properly and ask that question to God. Am I really hearing properly? Am I really seeing things right? Maybe I'm not seeing things right at all, and I need to really reassess. So anyway, what's up, Craig? I'm glad you're here this morning early. So it says, so now, son of man, pretend you are being sent to exile. Pack a few items an exile would carry and leave your home to go somewhere else. Do this right in front of all the people so they can see, for perhaps they will pay attention to this, even though they are such rebels. Bring your baggage outside during the day so they can watch you. Then in the evening, as they are watching, leave your house as captives do when they begin a long march to distant lands. Dig a hole through the wall while they are watching and go through it. As they watch, lift your pack to your shoulders and walk away into the night. Cover your face so you cannot see the land you are leaving, for I have made you a sign for the people of Israel. So Israel is to be, or Ezekiel is to be like, again, that play, like do dramas, if you will. He's like a thespian, man. The dude was like a drama guy. And God said, hey, I want you to set up a stage and do this and do that. And, sit on your side for a year and a year and a few months, then flip around and do a few months on the other side. It was pretty radical. But it was all to be something where it brought attention to people, and people would say, whoa, what is Ezekiel doing? And it would be in a sense, an announcement that, this is what You guys, what's happened to you? Kind of thing. To get their attention so that they would finally see. Isn't that amazing? That the lengths that God needs to go to get our attention. Or even human beings, for that matter, that need to do to get our attention. Sometimes we just aren't very attentive. And even though people are right there, it's just, even though Jesus says love, hey, can't you love people? Why can't you bear with one another? We just go, what? What? Me? No way. Or like, huh? I thought I was. Nah. It's like, we need something to almost shock us into being attentive. We fall asleep so easily. We are rebels ourselves. And it says, the next morning this message came to me from the Lord, Son of man, these rebels, the people of Israel, have asked you what all this means. Say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. These actions contain a message for King Zedekiah in Jerusalem and for all the people of Israel. Explain that the actions are a sign to show what will soon happen to them, for they will be driven into exile as captives. So it's a message back to actually Zedekiah, who's still in Jerusalem, saying, man, get ready to pack up because you're going to be going. See, those people in Jerusalem thought, oh, God's never going to allow them to finally take Jerusalem, so we can hunker down here. And they really relied on other sources, maybe other people, Egypt, those other nations that were close to help them out with Babylon. But it just never happened. It never came to that fruition that they wanted it to. And boy, isn't that like us too? Right? Where we hunker down, like Zedekiah. Even though the message is really loud and clear, we just hunker down. Stubbornness. What's my stubbornness like today? Do I find a stubborn heart, a proud heart? Do I think more highly of me than I ought? Zedekiah was a guy who certainly did. And it says, even Zedekiah will leave Jerusalem at night through a hole in the wall, taking only what he can carry, and he will cover his face and his eyes, and he will not see the land he is leaving. Then I will throw my net over him and capture him in a snare, and I will bring him to Babylon, the land of the Babylonians, though he will never see it, and he will die there. And I will scatter his servants and warriors to the four winds and send the sword after them, and I will scatter them among the nations. Then they will know that I am the Lord. Hey, I'm going to wake up Zedekiah. He's going to try to flee. It's not going to work. And he's never going to see Babylon because his eyes are going to be plucked out. Yikes. And that's what happened. We saw that in Jeremiah. What was it, 38 or 36 or somewhere in there. And it says, but I will spare a few of them from death by war, famine, or disease, so that they can confess all their detestable sins to their captors. Then they will know that I am the Lord. So the idea is always that. Then they will know that I am the Lord. Sometimes you're so stubborn that God's got to do something kind of really radical, to get your attention, to get you focused. There's no doubt in our life, we're always going to, God's going to bring us to that place where finally we're going to go, oh man, that's right. I kind of got to get serious about this, don't I? And our stubbornness affects us, the way we live in the body of Christ, the way we love people, things like that. Our stubbornness really can get involved and create quite a yuck. And that's kind of a bummer, because God's going to have to keep getting your attention and just keep on going in our lives and keep saying, hey, and showing us the Ezekiels, these incredible things that we are like, what is God showing us? God's trying to tell you something, Zedekiah, that you're being stubborn, dude. That, instead, why don't you look to God and love people? But instead, you hate people. And you're mean. And you're angry. And you're bitter. And Man, you're not thinking about loving people. How can I love people? How can I pray for people and think about them today? Instead, you're just wrapped up in all the stuff, God's got to get our attention. To love. Jesus said they will know you by your love for one another. So this is the message that came to me from the Lord. Son of man, tremble as you eat your food. Shake it with fear as you drink your water. Tell the people this is what the sovereign Lord says concerning those living in Israel and Jerusalem. They will eat their food and tremble and sip their water in despair, for their land will be stripped bare because of their violence. The cities will be destroyed and their farmland made desolate, and you will know that I am the Lord. So it's a prophecy concerning the last remnant in Jerusalem and Zedekiah, the king, just really having a stubborn heart. And instead of just really walking humbly, and he decides to kind of put his anchor into the ground and say, I'm not moving. Well, God's going to move him. Again, the message came to me from the Lord. Son of man, you've heard that proverb they quote in Israel. Time passes and prophecies come to nothing. Tell the people this is what the sovereign Lord says. I will put an end to this proverb, and you will soon stop quoting it. Now give them this new proverb to replace the old one. The time has come for every prophecy to be fulfilled. I love it. Even in Ezekiel's day, people were like, man, I've heard that proverb. This thing that, time passes and prophecies come to nothing. People say that all the time. Hey, isn't the Lord supposed to come back like that years ago? And doesn't everybody, say the Lord's going to come back? And, and this was something that was an idea all the way in Ezekiel's day as well. Meaning there's something about human beings where even though we're told something that's going to happen, and even though there's proof that there's been other things that have been said that did happen, so there's some evidence and some credulity, I think that's the word, you know what I'm trying to say, to the prophecies, we tend to become complacent and neglect. Oh, Jesus, I don't have to think about him coming back today. I'll just, go about my business. Everybody always says he's going to come back. Instead of having that anticipation that, no, he could come back today. And I should think about that. The proverb gets changed to saying, hey, every prophecy is going to get fulfilled. Meaning all the things you guys have been kind of mocking God about, oh, God said this, God said that, but it's never going to happen. Well, here we go. It probably never came exactly like they thought it was going to either. Meaning the prophecies that were fulfilled before them were a little different than they maybe thought, how they were going to kind of come about. It just reminds me, too, to be flexible, man. God will fulfill his word as he sees fit. And so it says, there will be no more false visions and flattering predictions in Israel, for I am the Lord. If I say it will happen, there will be no more delays. You rebels of Israel, I will fulfill my threat of destruction in your own lifetime. I, the sovereign Lord, have spoken. It's going to happen in your time. And no more little flattery things. Oh, you guys are so good. Oh, everything's going so great. There's none of that. It's going to happen now. What we read back in the Torah and Deuteronomy, those curses that were shouted out by the people. It's going to happen to you now. It's all coming to roost, so to speak. Flattery. Man, flattery can be a real killer, can it? Yeah, it can be something that, people use flattery for manipulative purposes. And I got to watch that. And we all do. This is the message that came to me from the Lord. Son of man, the people of Israel are saying he's talking about a distant future. His visions won't come true for a long time. Therefore tell them this is what the sovereign Lord says. No more delay. I will show now and do everything I have threatened. I, the sovereign Lord, have spoken. Okay, so the Lord's going to do it. He's going to do it now. And he's, it's happening quick. So, no more delay. You get that idea in the book of Revelation too, that there's these moments where there's no more delay. It's happening now. It's going to happen at the moment. But at the moment, people are freaking out. It's good to prepare your heart. It's the most rational thing any human being can do. Death is eternal no matter what state it's in. It's scientifically a fact that you and I will die if the Lord tarries. Everybody will. To neglect such a point, that point of death, and that eternity, no matter what state it's in, would be irrational, not rational behavior at all. The most rational thing a human could do, if they are a rational person, is to know that that day's coming. And when it comes, it might come quicker than we all think. And to be ready. And to look into what really is true. Who really is the ultimate authority on death and the afterlife? Who am I going to trust? To neglect such a thing is absolutely not rational, not a rational mind. Moving in the irrational. It's probably because of fear or whatever reasons. But man, we should seek truth above all things because we know there's the jump to come, So, cool passage. You guys take care. Have a great day, okay? Thanks for joining me early on in the devotion. Bye-bye.